Hey guys, Gavin and I welcome back to a brand new video, and it's been a while since you've heard my voice or anything. As you notice, I've been uploading short, like 4-5 minute videos, testing out tracks on American racing. If you remember, a while ago, I played a game called NASCAR 20, the game on Roblox. Well, it's pretty much the same game by the same developer. And I'm really excited for it. That's why I've been covering it. And I'll be covering the game more as stuff comes out. And the reason I'm uploading these test videos is just to give you an idea of what the game looks like, what the tracks look like, how they drive. So yeah, just wanted to inform y'all on that. So, you read the title. The idea of this video is, I got an idea. I can't remember what it was that sparked this up. I think it was, I was watching The Iceberg. As you know, The Iceberg, Jarrett Lundberg, is a NASCAR YouTuber. One of my personal favorites. He's also on the NASCAR Weekly podcast. And he made a video called What Do NASCAR Fans Want? And that sparked me to get the idea to make my own sort of NASCAR season. So, like, you've done this before. Yeah, I've made my own NASCAR season, but okay, this video is pretty much if I ran NASCAR. I'm doing one season, and I'm not gonna do what I've done with the other seasons and go through like race winners and like do an actual season. No, just gonna pretty much I wrote down the rules, like rules changes and all stuff like that. Who's going to what cars. And finally, schedule. Okay. I was going to say something else, but I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, and this season takes place in 2023 because there were some things that I wanted in this season that needed time to happen. So it would be at least as realistic as it could be. I mean, it's not realistic that I'm going to control NASCAR and everything that happens in it. But, I mean, want to at least get as realistic as I can. Yeah, if you notice, I'm wearing a Jeremy Clements shirt and hat. Okay. Alright, so this takes place in 2023. This is called just pretty much My NASCAR. That's what I titled it because it's NASCAR if I ran it. So, I have 18 changes that I would make to NASCAR. This is just the Cup Series. And I'm going to say this now. When it comes to drivers and who's in what car, this is information as of now. Because this is looking to the future of 2023. This could have been instantly dated if I had not watched David Lane's video about GMS buying majority ownership of Richard Petty Motorsports. So yeah. so yeah, if you want to date this video is being recorded Tuesday, December 2nd. So if you want to date this, December 2nd, 2021. Also, happy holiday season, guys. I hope you're looking forward to holidays. You're celebrating Hanukkah. First day of Hanukkah was Monday, I believe. So I don't know when this video is uploaded. Probably tomorrow. Probably Friday, December 3rd. But happy whatever day it is of Hanukkah. And people are celebrating Christmas, like myself. Christmas time, make sure you've got your Christmas list written down. If you are getting anything for Christmas, right? Make sure you get that to your parents or friends or whatever. So yeah, let's say happy holiday season. Okay. So yeah, cars. Who's in what cars is pretty much based off of all the information we have as of now. One thing I will say right now is, yes, I have changed around some drivers, but there's not been any changes to Penske. There would have been if we knew who was going to drive the 22 in the Xfinity Series next year. I would have been more than happy to put a fourth Penske car, but as of right now, we don't know who's going to drive that 22 in Xfinity. I mean, my prediction when the ride opened up, when it was announced that Austin Cindric would go to the Cup Series next year, my immediate thought was, Matt DiBenedetto is going to go to 22, but nothing's been announced, so I don't know. From what I've heard, he's poked around asking and talking to teams, and yeah. Alright, so let's just get into this. This is going to be a longer video, like all these NASCAR videos are. Alright, so 18 changes that I've made to NASCAR. So number 1, the biggest single change, and it's a big change, and I know a lot of people would be happy with this. We are returning, me and NASCAR, we are returning to a full season points championship, aka the Winston Cup points system. So, no more playoffs, no more chase. It is the champion is the driver who gained the most points throughout the season, and after the final race, the driver with the most points earned wins the championship. So, that's the biggest change, and one of the changes I'm most excited for. Like this actually coming true. Shut up. Let me drink. Rule number 2. May not seem like a big deal when you think. May not seem like a big deal at first, but it is a big deal. The 4-car rule is no longer a rule. If you don't know, the 4-car rule is what limits NASCAR Cup teams to 4 cars. It is the reason Hendrick Motorsports and Joe Gibbs Racing do not have 5 cars. So, there is no 4-car rule, but there is a rule. Teams can have a max of 5 full-time cars. So, I guess technically, if you want to get technical, it's 5-car rule now. So, teams can have a max of 5 full-time cars in a 6th part-time car. So, teams in a given race, a team can run 6 cars, but that 6th car has to be part-time. And part-time does not mean run 35 of the 36 races, no. Say at most half of the season, that part-time car can run. Next is, number 3, little to no tracks will have 2 races. And I counted, and there are only 6 tracks on the schedule that have 2 races. And when we have 36 races, that's a lot. So there's only 12 races that repeat. So that's big. I want to get as much variety in there as I can. So yeah. Rule number 4. There's no more double yellow line rule at Daytona and Talladega. Just don't want to deal with it. I was gonna say, but if you're forced under, then the person who forced you gets penalized, but if there's no yellow line rule, then what's the point? Because the point of penalizing someone for forcing someone below the yellow line is that they forced that person into breaking the rules, so we're going to penalize you for forcing that person below the yellow line. But if there's no yellow line rule, then that doesn't make sense. So just no more yellow line rule at Daytona and Talladega. I was going to say, but yes, in the turns, but who's going to be on the apron at Daytona and Talladega? No one. That is death. That is just death waiting to happen. Rule number 5, or change number 5, I should say. So this is pretty much, this is talking about the race weekend. Because as we all know, for a majority of pretty much this year and almost the entirety of last year in 2020, we have had no practice or qualifying except for a select few races. The only exceptions have been championship races at Phoenix, and then tracks that the cars are at for the first time. Like in the Cup Series, Road America, COTA, Indy Roval, tracks like that. So, my changes is that we will have, well, it'll be a 3-day race weekend. Weekend will be 3 days. We will have one all-day practice session. From, let's say, 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. You have that entire day to go practice. All day to practice. Just go out there, get the information you need. Just give the drivers and teams as much time as they need to make sure they get these setups right so we can have the best possible racing on race day. And then the second day, we will have a 2-hour practice session. I know, like, you need any more practice after all day practice session, but you'd be surprised. You get a 2-hour practice session, and followed by qualifying, which will most likely be single car qualifying. Alright, change number 6. Stage racing will stay, but we won't have any stage cautions. We'll just freeze the field. We'll just take a snapshot of the field when the stages are over, and then decide, and then allocate points accordingly. And stage points are normal points, no playoff points, no playoff points, just normal points. Okay, I was about to bring up something because I thought I forgot it, but I didn't. Okay, because it's the very next rule. Change number 6. Points are now awarded for leading laps and for leading the most laps. So drivers will now get points for leading laps and bonus points for leading the most laps. Just to incentivize that much more for drivers to try harder. I mean, just incentivize the drivers to try to get to the front more. Alright, number 8. Advertising. We are going to work with the teams and manufacturers too, and the sponsors to get the drivers and sponsors more involved in advertising. We want to see more commercials like the Denny Hamlin like PJ commercial. Like, I want commercials on Nickelodeon of Kyle Busch throwing M&Ms at people. Like, I want commercials like that. Like, I want to have Napa commercials with Chase Elliott. Like, I want NASCAR drivers and sponsors to be more involved in advertising the sport. I want them to be fun commercials and memorable commercials. And we're also going to be advertising upcoming races on channels more than the channel the race is on during the race. I'm sorry, but if we're at Talladega and during a commercial break it says, tune in next week when we're at Texas, it's like, yeah, obviously I know the next race is Texas. Yeah, want to get more advertising to other channels, sponsoring, advertising the sponsors, the drivers, and upcoming races. Next, change number 9, Dodge is back. one of the reasons I wanted to wait until make this take place in 2023. Dodge is back. And NASCAR will talk to more manufacturers about joining the sport. So NASCAR will go talk to Honda, to possibly Nissan, to Cadillac, talk to these manufacturers about joining the sport. Tell them hey, you can get exposure by coming into the sport. If you want to just show how much speed your cars have, how good your racing development is, come to NASCAR. We'll give you as much exposure as you could possibly want. Number 10, no more fan council. Yeah, the fan council is ridiculous. Pretty much, fan council is like it's like a couple hundred fans, and NASCAR asks questions to this fan council and words them in a way so NASCAR will get the answer that they want. Would you rather have lower horsepower close racing, or have higher horsepower racing that's stretched out and boring? Like, come on, NASCAR. So yeah, no more fan council. NASCAR will actually talk to influencers. I hate using that word, but it's the best way to just encompass like YouTubers, TikTokers, people on Instagram, Twitter, everyone. NASCAR will talk to influencers/fans. So NASCAR we will actually have a team that goes and listens to these influencers and these fans about what they want. If we have a situation where maybe we call a race early because of darkness, when everyone, like on YouTube, all the big NASCAR YouTubers are talking about, hey, we could have gone a little later. NASCAR, we will have people go listen to them and take notes on what we can do differently. Alright, number 11, we have 2 new packages. These are taking over the 750 and the 550. So we're getting rid of those 2 and replacing them with these 2. So we will have a 650 horsepower high downforce package. So we're taking the 550 and adding an extra 100 horsepower to it. And then the second package is an 800 horsepower low downforce package. So yeah, 650 will be used at 550 tracks, and 800 will be used at 750 tracks. Alright, number 12, no more charters. Yeah, charter system's kind of dumb. So, be no more charters in the sport. Everyone must qualify for the race. Doesn't matter if you are the defending champion. It doesn't matter if you've won 5 races this season. You have to qualify for this race on speed. Except, the only person that does not have to qualify for the race is the previous race winner. Which I guess you can get away with. More often than not, it's going to be someone who would have qualified for the race anyways. And just want to incentivize winning even more without having playoffs. Alright, change number 13, we're going to have more short races. So we're going to have more 400-mile races, more 350-mile races. Stuff like that. Change number 14. NASCAR will push hard to reinstate former NASCAR tracks. Get back to the roots. Go to tracks that used to be on the schedule and try to get them back. Do whatever we can. See if we can talk to local governments to put money into it. Maybe put in some of our own money. We want to get some of these old tracks back because it's what fans have been saying that they want. And if we want to make the fans happy, we're going to listen to the fans and do what they want. But we're not going to listen to fans if they're like, hey, go get this random short track out in Idaho. It's like, nope. First of all, that was not a former NASCAR track, and just nope. Yeah. former NASCAR tracks that make sense to come back. Like Rockingham, North Wilkesboro, Nashville Fairgrounds. Tracks like that. Change number 15. This is less about the on-track product and more something related to it. NASCAR video games. Yes, the console games. How fun. NASCAR games will now last 3 years. We will talk to developers and tell them, hey, make this game last 3 years rather than having a game come out every year. So, for NASCAR 23 will last for the 2023, 2024, and 2025 seasons. We'll have probably updating rosters and rule changes depending on for seasons. So for the 2024 season, we'll release an update for the 2023 game that gives new paint schemes, rosters, everything like that. So yeah, NASCAR games now last it's now a 3-year cycle rather than a new game every year. Alright. Change number 16. Major development will be made on rain racing, including on ovals. Yes, if you remember earlier this year, NASCAR had a test at Martinsville, and they wetted the track, and Kyle Larson and I believe Ryan Blaney or Chris Buescher, I think it was Chris Buescher. It was Larson and Buescher went out on rain tires and tested at Martinsville when it was wet. And I want to put more focus on being able to race on the ovals if we can in the rain. Because we can do it on the road courses pretty well. But there's still some changes that can be made on the road courses to make it better. And I want to see if we can get rain racing on the ovals. Except for Daytona and Talladega, that will never happen. Racing at those two tracks is dangerous enough as it is. The last thing we need is racing in the rain. Next, change number 17. We will have revolving all-star races and season finales. So the all-star race and season finale will rotate every year. They'll change tracks. As you'll see with the schedule I made for this, the all-star race and season finale are at tracks they've never been at before. And final change is we will have several serious documentaries. You know how F1 had Drive to Survive, and this is something people have been talking about for a while now. NASCAR needs something like Drive to Survive. Want several serious documentaries. Maybe one talking about Larson's redemption arc. Larson going from being fired from CGR, then being free and I can't think of the word, but kicked out of NASCAR. All the way to him becoming the 2021 Cup Series champion. We want to talk about maybe the rise of smaller teams. And just have serious documentaries. So, yeah. Now, let's get to cars. Now, 5-car rule. No more 4-car rule. Teams can have a max of 5 full-time cars plus 1 part-time car. Hendrick Motorsports will remain with Chevy. And the number 5 will be Kyle Larson. And the number 9, Chase Elliott. And the number 24, William Byron. And the number 25 will be Noah Gragson. And number 48 will be Alex Bowman. And the number 88 will be shared among several drivers. And it will be run part-time. Joe Gibbs Racing. Excuse me. Joe Gibbs Racing will remain with Toyota. Driving the number 11 will be Denny Hamlin. Number 18, Kyle Busch. Number 19, Martin Truex Jr., as he will retire this year in 2023. And the number 20, Christopher Bell. And the number 54 is Harrison Burton. And driving the number 96 part-time is Ty Gibbs. Yes, the number 96 will be run under Joe Gibbs Racing part-time, and Joe Gibbs Racing will start driving the number 54, and it will go to Harrison Burton as he gets brung over from the Wood brothers. Team Penske will stay with Ford, and you have Austin Cindric in the 2, number 12, Ryan Blaney, and Joe Logano in the number 22. Then we move over to Stewart-Haas Racing, and they will make the switch from Ford to Dodge. Driving the number 4 in his final season will be Kevin Harvick. Driving the number 10 will be Eric Almirola. Number 14, Chase Briscoe. Number 39, part-time, will be Riley Herbst. And driving the number 41 will be Cole Custer. Next, we go to RFK, aka Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. Driving the number 6 will be Brad Keselowski. Driving the number 17 will be Chris Buescher. And driving the number 26, part-time, will be Ryan Vargas. So I tried to come up with some story other than I think Vargas deserves a chance at a top ride in the Cup Series and just a top ride in general. And my reasoning that I could think of is Brad Keselowski wanted a Xfinity Series team, and he wanted to drive the number. He wanted to have the number 6 in Xfinity. Turns out a team already has the number 6. Okay, who's in that car? Ryan Vargas. Okay, let me learn about this Ryan Vargas character. Oh, so he's a driver who's worked really hard and pretty much worked his way to where he is, working as hard as he possibly can. Let me give him an opportunity to run part-time for Roush in the Cup Series. So, that's pretty much my explanation, if I had to give one. Which I feel like I have to. Ryan Vargas running for Roush Fenway Racing. So yeah, Ryan Vargas will drive the number 6, will drive the number 26 for Roush part-time. Now we move on to RCR, which stays with Chevy, obviously. We have the number 3 of Austin Dillon, the number 8 of Tyler Reddick, and driving the number 31 part-time will be Austin Hill. As you remember, about a week or two ago, it was announced that Austin Hill would drive for RCR in the Xfinity Series in 2022. Next, we got a Trackhouse. They will remain with Chevy. Number 1 is Ross Chastain, and the 99 is Daniel Suarez. Next, we got a 2311, and as Joe Gibbs stays with Toyota, so will 2311 stay with Toyota. Driving the number 23 is Bubba Wallace, and the 45 is Kurt Busch. And I just got the teams that were of note. Next, we move on to GMS. Driving the number 43 will be Eric Jones, and driving the number 94 is Ty Dillon. Move on to the final team of note. We have Colleague Racing, and they will go from Chevy to Dodge. Why not? I wanted to have more than one team go to Dodge, and they were the only one I could see going to Dodge. People would say RFK, but I feel like Jack Roush wouldn't let, as long as he's controlling that team, as long as he's there, I don't think he'd let Roush leave Ford. So Colleague goes to Dodge, and in the number 16 is Justin Haley, and in the number 61 is Daniel Hemrick. Alright, now we're going to just quickly run through the schedule. Alright. Like I said, only 6 tracks have 2 races. So we're going to start off the season with the Daytona 500. Second race, the Auto Club Short Track for the Auto Club 400. Race number 3 is the South Point 400 at Las Vegas. Then the Ruoff Mortgage 400 at Phoenix. Then the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 400, not 500, like I said, shortening races. Folds of Honor Quick Trip 400 at Atlanta. The Echo Park Automotive Texas Grand Prix at COTA. The Toyota Owners 400 at Chicagoland. Yes, Chicagoland is back because Chicagoland was one of the best mile and a half intermediates, and there was no reason it should have been left. Then we have the Blue Emu Max Pain Relief 500 at Martinsville. Then we have the Food City Bristol Dirt Race. The Geico 500 at Talladega. The Dryden 350 at Dover. Once again, shortening races. We have the Goodyear 400 at Iowa. Iowa back on the NASCAR schedule. And now in the Cup Series. Next, we have the Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas. The Instacart 400 at Gateway. The Toyota Save Mart 350 at Sonoma. The Ally 400 at Nashville Superspeedway. The 4th of July race. The Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona. Yes, I'm having Daytona be the 4th of July race. You're not going to stop me. Okay, the Pennzoil 400 at the Rock at Rockingham. Yes, I have to have Rockingham. The Jockey Made in America 250 at Road America. The Pocono Organic CBD 350 at Pocono. The Verizon 200 at the Brickyard Roval. The Firekeepers Casino 350 at Michigan. The Federated Auto Parts 300 at Richmond. The Go Bowling at the Glen. The Foxwoods Resort Casino 301 at New Hampshire. The Southern 500 at Darlington. The O'Reilly Auto Parts 500 at the Nashville Fairgrounds. The Bass Pro Shops Bristol Night Race. The Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 300 at Texas. The Yellowwood 500 at Talladega. The Bank of America Roval 250. The Quaker State 400 at Kentucky. Like I said, I wanted more variety, and the less mile and a half repeats I had, the better. So decided to bring Kentucky back. The Dixie Vodka 400 at Homestead. The Xfinity 500 at Martinsville. And the season finale is the Busch Season Finale 500 at The Rock. Yes, I decided, why not give Rockingham the season finale? Because I couldn't think of any other track. It was a toss-up between, for me, for the season finale, it was a toss-up between Rockingham and Darlington. That's where you know my head, just let you know where my head's at when it comes to this. My season finale was either going to be Darlington or Rockingham. Now, let's get to the exhibition races. You have the Busch Light Clash at the LA Coliseum, and the All-Star race this season will be at